Think about it for a moment. In Elden Ring, you are Tarnished. In Skyrim, you are Dragonborn. In Dark Souls, you are the Ashen One. We have Link in Zelda, and in the Witcher series, you play as Geralt of Rivia. We can go on and on with a long list of RPG games, but as you can see, in most of the RPG games that we've played, we always play as the heroes. Heroes whose main objective is to slay the monsters. This will all change in my game, since in my game, you'll be playing as the monster that the usual RPG game heroes kill. I want to make a reverse RPG game that shows the perspective of the monsters this time. In this devlog, I will be showing you guys my thought process on the design and gameplay mechanics I'm planning to implement in the development of Wisplight. Basically, we will be doing a deep dive about the scope of the game, its key features, and key gameplay mechanics that can make Wisplight a unique take on the RPG game genre. And by the end of this video, I will be revealing what we will be developing in the next development phase, so stick around. For those of you who are new here, I'm June and I'm making a game where you play as a wisp, a glowing ball of light who can transform into different monster types to fend off human invaders exploiting your island home. So let's begin. When I started my game design, I saw references from other games or media that have a fairly similar theme. Basically, I'm trying to gather inspiration from games or movies that fit the game design. In my case, I wanted to make an RPG game where you play as a monster, so I gather references and information from my favorite game titles and movies that relate to this theme. I wanted to make an RPG game like Skyrim with branching storylines like The Witcher and with a mix of complex combat of Dark Souls and the simplicity of Valheim. And since it's about you playing as a monster, I took inspiration from movies like Overworld, where you play as a monster in a world of humans. So with the core theme of the game set, I will now be designing the key features and mechanics for it. For the main gameplay mechanic, it is all centered on the Wisp. Harmless, but with the ability to transform into different monster types with unique playstyles and skills. So at the moment, we have these monster types. The Skeleton, a low health type monster that relies on tools and weapons to its advantage. It can equip weapons that unlock different skill sets. So at the moment, it can equip a short sword and a shield, and moves and attacks like a skeleton warrior. I'm planning on letting the skeleton equip a crystal staff and give it a skill to summon multiple skeleton warriors to fight alongside you. The skeleton is also a backbone for your dungeon empire. You can use tools to gather the resources for the expansion of your territory. You can assign wisps to your dungeon. They will transform into skeleton minions and work for you to help make the economy of your dungeon move. I'll be talking more about dungeons, settlements, outposts, and territory towards the end of this video, so stick around. The armor. This is a tank type monster that uses multiple blades. You can switch the blades to fit your playstyle. Either you play using a slow two-handed greatsword or use fast action dual blades. And oh, the blade that you switch from will follow you around and will attack autonomously just like a pet minion sword. You can also use the armor to disguise yourself as one of the humans and spy on human settlements. The Golem. Since our game is centered around the goal of eliminating humans on your island, the Golem will be a handy addition to your arsenal of monsters. It is focused on siege and destruction of human settlements. Its weakness though is its mobility. Human enemies are smart and they can pretty much find crafty ways to eliminate a slow-moving enemy like the Golem. The Water Elemental. I plan on making the Water Elemental a glass cannon type of monster. It uses range attacks by shooting ice shards towards the human enemies. It can also control water elements like mist to lower the enemy's line of sight. It can also manipulate rain, making it cast lightning bolts down your enemies, just like Zymoth from the classic Battle Realms. The Ant. A tree-like creature that specializes in stealth and blending with the trees. The Ant excels in the forest biomes where nature is lush. Its strength in stealth is balanced by its weakness to fire. The modeling of the ant is now in progress, and I'm excited to add this new creature to our game. I'll be making a separate devlog for the ant's creation process once the modeling process is done, so subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay tuned. So you've noticed, our monster designs are not the usual monsters like goblins, zombies, ghosts, giants, creatures, and so on. Their designs are tightly linked to the Wisp's ability to conjure inanimate objects. The lore creates the rules of the design. In the Wisp case, we can only conjure inanimate objects, so we cannot randomly create monsters unsupported by this specific reason. And the abilities and skills that will be developed for these characters should relate to the set parameters and principles of this world. Upon making my designs, my decision making is always influenced by the lore of the game and the principles around it. The lore makes the game interesting, makes you immerse in the universe you're playing in. Gameplay is an important aspect in a game, but the lore and the story makes it interesting. Our story is set on an island that humans discovered years ago. This island is important to humans since it is the source of a rare resource only found in this island. This resource is called the Life Essence. Life Essence can be harvested and used to conjure magic, and humans utilize it to progress their civilization. With the demand for Life Essence, the humans decided to settle on the island for the main purpose of harvesting this resource and maximizing its power. At first, they used prisoners from the mainland and used them as the main workforce to explore and harvest the Life Essence. Then, they made settlements and fortifications to further expand their resource-gathering exploits. With this story set, as a monster innocently living on the island and your main energy source, the Life Essence, is aggressively exploited by humans, you now have a motivation to defend yourself and your island home. The game, or you as the player, now has a rational goal. Goals are important to the game design. It will lead the player and keep them engaged. In our game, the end goal is to eliminate the humans invading and exploiting your island home. And there are many ways to do this. Upon designing the goals for our game, we need to categorize the goals into 3 parts. We need a long-term goal, a mid-term goal, and intermediate goals. And these goals translate to gameplay loops. For the long-term gameplay loop, we'll have you guys preoccupied with the ultimate goal of eliminating the humans from the island. And the best way to do this is to make a gameplay mechanic that uses territories and settlements. It meshes well with the gameplay and the lore. The long-term gameplay mechanic for our game to reach the end game is to capture all human territories on the island, one at a time. So we'll be making human settlements and outposts all over the island. These outposts and settlements are heavily guarded by humans, and once you capture them, you can make them your own settlement and have minions work and defend the area. And the reward for capturing each settlement is access to resources that will help you build your main dungeon and enhance your army and capabilities. For example, there are forester camps within the forest that you can capture. Once captured, you will have the option to build and upgrade this camp. Once you assign minions to the camp, you will have wood, and these resources will be delivered to your dungeon. Alternatively, you can upgrade the camp to produce charcoal, which is a necessary resource to produce weapons and armor for your army. Another long-term and mid-term goal is to build your dungeons and your abilities. According to Cassandra's journal, there is an ancient ruin underneath the island and is connected to a crypt found in the middle of the swamp. Cassandra is your human NPC companion that will help and guide you through your journey. We'll be making a separate video talking about Cassandra's motivation and backstory. Going back to the crypt, you and Cassandra will venture there. This questline will lead you to your very own dungeon, and this dungeon will be the central base for you and other wisps that will be working with you in your quest of eliminating the human invaders. You see, you'll encounter wisps on your journey. Some of them are wandering around the forest, some of them are captured by human mages and are used as catalysts to enhance their magic. And one of your short and mid-term goals is to find this wisp, kill or defeat the humans using them as catalysts, and ultimately free your fellow wisps. When freed, these wisps have the ability to merge with you. Once they merge, you will unlock new skills on your skill tree, giving you upgraded skills to defeat the human settlers. It's like our unique way of leveling up your character. Apart from leveling up your character, you can also unmerge the wisp from you. And although this lowers your level and removes the skill attached to that wisp, in turn, you can assign them to your dungeon and outpost, so that they can transform into skeletons and use tools to gather resources, craft items, and build your dungeon and territory. The dungeon is your manufacturing center where your smithy and forge are located, and this will provide you with the weapons needed to build an army or enhance your monster abilities. So in summary, we will make a game where you play as a monster with the long-term goal of eliminating humans by capturing their territory, And to do so, you need to gather fellow Wisp on the island to fight with you. They can either merge with you to give you more powerful skills and abilities, or they can work with you in your dungeons to gather resources and produce weapons for you and your army, or defend settlements and territories for you. This is the core scope of our RPG game, and we'll be developing towards the completion of these features in the following months. The first 3 months developing the game, I had my friends playtest the early version of our combat, and I got a lot of feedback from them. We'll be tackling most of them on our next devlogs where we fix the bugs and polish existing features. We'll also add some features and suggestions from the comments suggested by you guys, so keep those suggestions coming. One of our goals is to make this game dev community driven. Be part of the game development and feel free to comment your ideas down below. Basically, the next game development phase will be focused on bug fixes and polishing the current combat system before we proceed to another big gameplay mechanic for Wisplight. Till next time.